We're live! Hi guys, this is Rebel TV, and this is our Wednesday show, and if you're here, then we are happy to have you here. Um, we do this every day at 3 p.m. Eastern. We are a group of marketers that get together. We're the Rebel Marketers, and we absolutely enjoy spending time together and hope that you get something out of every show that we share with you guys. And today my guests are Francine and Kim. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and give themselves a nice little introduction here. So Francine, can you start?
Yes, I'm a stay-at-home mum to a two-year-old daughter, and I'm a blogger. I enjoy blogging because I'm a full-time mum, and it gives me another outlet aside from being a mum.
Awesome. And Kim?
I'm Kim, and I work away from home and stay at home to a 4-year-old little girl, and then I also blog as well.
Awesome. And I am Jen, and I too am a mommy blogger. So we actually have a very interesting topic today. We're going to talk about being an introvert, and being an introvert in a very extrovert-dominated industry. So one of the things that when we first started this whole conversation, Francine was like, she's like, introverts. So what are we going to talk about with, what am I going to have to contribute to being an introvert? And I think a lot of people actually get being, the concept of introvert and being shy kind of mixed up. And so they think that, an introvert is someone who doesn't talk, who's a wallflower, who doesn't contribute a lot to a conversation. And that's really not the case. Introverts are they can be very, very talkative. They can have a lot to contribute. They're usually very deep thinkers. They're usually writers. Hint, all three of us are writers. And so they have a lot to contribute. They just have a hard time doing it in probably large groups where they have to socialize a lot. And that doesn't mean that they're shy or anything. It's just they feel it just takes a lot of energy to do that for a lot of introverts. So, Francine, what are your thoughts when we first started this? And we had the TED Talk that I shared with you guys, and then Kim's article. What did you think at first?
Well, at first, I was confused about what was defined as being shy and what was defined as being an introvert, because I thought that an introvert was just an extremely shy person, which is the kind of person that I used to be a lot when I was younger. But as I've got older, I've grown in confidence, and so I didn't think that I could label myself as an introvert. After watching the video, the lady who was speaking was explaining those differences between a shy person and an introvert person, and I could see a little bit of that in me, but still not a huge amount to be able to put the label introvert on myself. But then the article, it was giving a list of things associated with being an introvert, and I realised that I was like yes for every single one. So it turns out that I am an introvert, but that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not bad at all. And let me interject here, guys. What we're discussing actually today of being an introvert, when we talked about this and decided that we were going to talk about this topic today, we looked at a TED Talk video from Susan Cain, and it's how introverts play into the world. So if you want to look that up on Google, just go to Google real quick and look up Susan Cain, C-A-I-N, and look up TED Talk, and you'll be able to find that. And then while we were doing this and talking about this, Kim came up with a really great article from Huffington Post, and it's actually titled 23 Signs You're Secretly an Introvert. So you can also go Google that and really see what we're talking about and kind of backtrack. When we're done with the show, you can kind of go backtrack and see kind of what we're talking about here. Kim, can you tell us where you came up with that article and just share your thoughts on what you thought when we first started discussing this is what we were going to talk about today?
Well, I mean, I kind of wanted to be prepared, I wanted to know the specific definition of an introvert. I mean, I always knew I was like shy, but also, I just wanted to kind of learn about the different things, like how different it is, the difference between being shy and being an introvert, that, you can be an outgoing person. With being an introvert, it's just the amount of interaction that you can take. You enjoy your moments alone. As an introvert, close-knit friends are what excites you more than being out in a group of 100 people, kind of thing. So I just wanted to learn and figure out exactly what it was in the introvert. So.
Awesome. That is so awesome. So one of the things that I really liked about the article that you found, Kim, was that it talked about small talk being one of the things that we have a really huge problem with. And it's because we're very deep thinkers, and so when we have a conversation, we really want to get to know somebody and get fully immersed in the conversation, and we don't want to it's very tiring to spend 15 minutes or 10 minutes or maybe even 5 just discussing the weather. We don't really want to do that. We want to actually have a real conversation and a real connection, and that's part of what being an introvert is. And so when I saw that article and I was looking at the networking part of it, because being a blogger, you have to network a lot. You have to talk to other people. You go and comment on other people's blogs. You want to make a connection with them. You want to talk to them. And so one of the things that I liked about this was the discussion when it came to the networking part of it said, read small talk with the end goal of advancing your career. And so I thought, wow, that is a perfect description for networking as an introvert. You don't want to go do all the small talk because it drives you crazy. And so one of the tips that we want to give today, and one of the tweaks that you can make when it comes to doing that networking, is to network in smaller groups. And you can do this by doing things like we do. Like we go to Facebook and we just find groups of people that we're comfortable talking with, and then if they want to come ask us questions, that's great. If they don't, we've made a great friend, and we feel more comfortable working that way. I don't know. At least I do. I don't know. How do you ladies feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I find it a lot more comfortable, communicating with people that way, because it's like you can do it on your terms, and you can do it for as long or as little as you want to, and when you've had enough and you need to come away and have your time away and think and reflect on things, then you can do that.
How about you, Kim?
I know, yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to agree. Smaller groups makes me, more comfortable, and I've worked in hard sales before, and it was very difficult for me because they expected you just kind of drill these people to want what you had to offer, whereas I was like, you don't want my service, and I wasn't going to argue with them. I was like trying to convince them in my own way, in a nicer way and less harsh way. So I mean, with being, in Facebook and other social media, it allows me to kind of, be myself and not come off as like this harsh salesperson. So I mean, that's one thing, doing it that way. So.
Awesome. I think that really leads into, when we're networking, people think that it's all about marketing, and it's not all about just the marketing. Yes, you wanna do that, but by doing the way we do things a lot in our group, we actually get to be ourselves, and we get to, you know, make a connection with people on a much deeper level. And I think that that's something that works for a lot for us because it gives us that advantage, to really network with people on a level where we feel like they know, like, and trust us already because they've spent some time with us, because they know who we are. They're gonna agree more with us, and we don't have to do that hard sell, push, push, push that a lot of other places train you to do. And so I think I don't know if you guys agree with that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, I wrote down a bunch of notes today so that I could keep on topic. And one of the other things that I liked about, because what we do, we're bloggers. Um, and it also said that writing is usually a very key skill for introverts because they're much better at communicating that way. And so I think a lot of bloggers may not even know they're introverts. That doesn't mean all vloggers are introverts, but we like to think on a much deeper level. We like to really dig into things and figure out how they work and why they work, and then share that with other people. And I think what we do actually gives us an advantage because we get to tap into our own skills in our business because we actually have the ability to go blog about it. I mean, we're encouraged to do that daily. So, anyway, what do you think about that? I mean, when it comes to that, because Kim, I know for you, writing isn't really your thing. Yours is a lot of, I mean, I know you write as well, but a lot of yours is actually your artwork. And so what do you think about that when it comes to doing your blogging daily? Do you use that as a way to share your artwork daily, or how do you break that down?
Well, I mean, I normally do that on the weekend, just kind of like my fun, fun time, and I like to share that. But I don't really have to, um, where I like to think before I speak. I have to have the whole idea of what I'm gonna write down written out before I even post it publicly. With drawing, it's just kind of like I'm free to do, um, do what I see or have in my mind. It's more free instead of like I'm kind of a perfectionist and I have to, when I come to writing, I like to know what I'm going to talk about before I actually, express it.
How about you, Francine? How do you let your skill play into your writing when you go about doing it?
I mean, I think for me, the writing is a great kind of I can't think of the word now. Um, it's a great way to channel the things that I'm thinking and I want to be able to say, but I perhaps wouldn't necessarily be able to communicate or talk about in the way that I want to if I was, in a real life situation with people. And so it's a great way for me to just be able to express myself, I guess, and share the things that I want to be able to share and I'd like to be able to share, and think that sometimes I'm not capable of doing, but I can through the writing. Does any of that make sense?
It totally makes sense to me because there are times where I want to share something or I want to do something, but I can't get it to come out the right way. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but especially like when I'm having a conversation with people, I want to say something, but it doesn't come out the way that I want it to. And so sometimes it can come off either rude or like half-baked. But, in my head, it's like when I'm done, I'm like, oh, I should have said these 15 other things to clarify that point. But if I'm doing my writing and I'm doing a blog post, I sit back and before I ever publish it, before I ever publish anything on Facebook, I go and I reread it most of the time, especially if I'm trying to make a big point. If it's just like little status update, I have the problem of typing faster than I can think. So I have all these typos and stuff. But as far as if it's something that I really want to get my point across, then I'll take the time and I'll let it sit for a day or two, and I'll go back and reread it because I really want to be able to communicate my point. So I think writing in that way and being able to use that skill, that's our second tweak, by the way, being able to use your skill as either writing, or it could be music, or it could be like Kim is, where you're an artist, where you can just let your creativity take over and communicate something to the world that they need, to bring forth your creativity to the world and help them in a way that you feel comfortable with. Okay, so apparently my camera doesn't like me right now. We're just going to continue to go with it. And that brings us to our third tweak, actually, which are videos, which is something that we can all use in our business. Francine, it really cracks me up, but you get on here every week. You were telling me before we started that you don't do videos, and you don't have anything set up to do videos yet. But at the same time, you are amazing when you get on to our group videos every week. You get on here and you have something awesome to contribute. And Kim, you have some of the most amazing art videos I've ever seen. I love just watching you draw out your stuff. It's so awesome. And I think so video is a great way for us to connect with people, because it gives us the opportunity for us to share a thought and be ourselves and be seen and be real and make eye contact and all that stuff without actually having to do all the social small talk that really bothers us. What do you guys think about that? Like, Francine, how do you feel when I tell you that you're awesome and you should be doing video?
I know. I mean, you're not the first person to say it, because obviously we're live now, and most people say, well, that's got to be scarier than doing videos, because at least you can stop it and start it and edit it, and with this there isn't just any of that. But I find that this is a great way, because like you said, as introverts, we just like being in small groups. So there's normally the three of us on Rebel TV, so it's a really nice way to be able to communicate and share your ideas. But yeah, I can see your point with videos as well, especially as an introvert. I can see the benefit of it in being able to share the messages and the things you want to be able to share, but without necessarily having to stand on a stage and do it to hundreds of people.
And Kim, what do you?
Sorry. When it comes to like you were mentioning, like my drawing and stuff like that, I feel like I'm not on the spotlight. It's my art that's on the spotlight. So I kind of feel more comfortable being able to use that to express, this is something that I love, and stuff like that. So, but with other like blogging. With blogging live, I feel. Sorry, I had to mute it for a second because the daughter's in here. Blogging live, I feel like I'm talking to just you two, whereas like when I'm doing my own videos.
It's okay, Kim. It's okay. Just let her talk, and you don't have to mute her out. It's all good, Mama.
All right. But whereas when I'm doing like my own like videos, I feel like I'm doing it for the whole world. So that makes me a little bit more scared to do just like one-on-one with the camera, even though um, like
Well,
I
here's
think
here's a tweak I think that well, here's a tweak I think you could use. Instead of feeling like you're going to be you know, live for the whole world, what you need to just consider is maybe it's just the three of us. So you know that I watch your channel, so if you make a video, when you're making a video, you think, okay, well, I'm going to make this video for Jen today. Or I'm going to make this video for somebody else in our group, and this was just something that they were talking about, and so this is what I'm going to make it in reference to. And that might actually help you feel a little bit more comfortable and like you're in a more intimate setting when you're sitting down to do a video.
right.
Because I know I used to feel that way, and it's kind of funny because I used to be a theater major, and I wasn't comfortable on stage, but I was dang great behind the scene as tech. And it's so I understand what it feels like. So when I started doing stuff on stage and doing things live for, while I was in college, I would just consider myself as doing it for one or two of my friends. Even though I could see the whole audience, I would focus on one or two people. And that made it really easy to come out of my shell is not really the word I want to use, but it made it easier for me to feel like I was connecting with the whole audience at that point, simply because I found a focus point when it came to what I was doing. I was addressing one person or I was addressing another person, and in doing that, then I could get my whole point across to everybody, and it made it a much more powerful thing to do. And it's not easy to do as an introvert because sometimes you are uncomfortable in front of large groups, or you're uncomfortable being around them afterwards, because I always had the problem of once I was done, I didn't want anybody to come tell me, oh, great job, and how you doing, and where did you write that, and how did you come up with that? No, I didn't want any of that. I just wanted to get out there, say my bit, and be done.
No, I can understand that, when you're with the one article, it was saying, you can stand talking to, a group of thousands of people, but the idea of answering questions and talking to them afterwards, scares you. So I understand that.
Awesome. Yeah, so those three tweaks are the things that you can do. You can use networking in smaller groups to really build up to your skill set. The other one is use your writing or your art or whatever your creativity outlet is as an introvert, whatever it is, whatever your gift is, use that as a way to help other people. Ours just happens to be writing, or like Kim's is her art, and we just do that. We choose to do that on our blogs so that other people can share in our creativity, and we choose to do that in some of our social media. So by using those things to be able to reach other people, that's another thing you can do, when you're doing stuff, is use your social media, use your blogging as a way to connect to other people as well, without having to do all the stuff that makes it uncomfortable and time consuming and draining and everything else. And then the last is using videos as a way to connect to other people and really getting your point across without having to feel like you're constantly on all the time. This is one of the things that I always have a problem with. I feel like I have to be on every minute that I'm on social media, and that doesn't always have to be the case. You can take a break, you can take a step back, you can be yourself, and you don't have to be the loudest voice in this noisy world in order to bring about what you want, because you're creating your own success. And I think that that's something that as introverts we all need to keep in mind. We're creating our own success, and we're bringing our creativity to the world in the best way we know how. So Do you ladies have any last words you want to, because we're kind of like over time now, but any last words you want to contribute to the conversation?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Well, then this has been fun, and tonight there will be an After Dark show at 8 p.m., so please be sure to come back and join us. If you are here because some rebel marketer loved you enough to actually send you here, then check out either the link below or some links around to the side and check out their blog if you're on their blog. Get to know them, get to, make a connection with them. That's what they're here to do. They're sharing their gift and their love with you. So we are happy and excited to have spent this time with you, and we're going to say bye for now, and we hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.